Afternoon, everyone. Today is a lovely day here in Chengdu, and I just thought I would take a little bit and sort of indulge myself because I have a lot of videos here on this channel, but there are some videos in particular that I personally love and I think can show you a little bit more of who I am and what I've experienced here in China. So today I've decided to talk about the top 10 videos that are here on the Austin in China channel. So let's get into it. First one I want to talk about, these are in no particular order, is the hanging coffins. I want to talk about my trip to the hanging coffins because this was a really special, really unique kind of trip that I took here in China. And it was just a whole different sort of experience. It was a real big hassle to go to this place. And it was a really unique opportunity that I had. And it's a place that not a lot of people went to. And it really got me thinking about a lot of different things that I see here in China. And this hanging coffins video, I really think is worth checking out. It's one of my favorites, and it's one that means a lot to me. So if you could go check that video out, I'd really love it. Now, the second video is very, very different. It's this story that I have, is Real China Stories series that I have, where I talk about this 8-month-old student that came into the school that I was working at, this language training school, and I just talk about sort of that weird, like, what the heck were these parents thinking moment? And it's a really funny moment I really appreciate, and it's just a little sample of all the weird things that you see in China. So yeah, that's a fun one, and it will sort of introduce you into that China Stories playlist. The third one that we can mention is my trip to Matise, the Horsehoof Temple in Jiangye, Gansu. And I mention it because it's sort of like the Hanging Coffins. It was a really unique place, and it's a place that not a lot of people talk about. And it's like, when you think of Gansu in China, you think of a desert region. There's nothing out there. It's very dry and it's not beautiful, but this place is. It was really green and it was beautiful, and it escaped a lot of the Cultural Revolution stuff that happened. Not entirely. So it is a little piece of history that sits there in Gansu. And I just loved that place because you just don't see places like that. These temples carved into the very living mountain. There are lots of these in China, but again, even in China, when you say lots, it's not as many as you would think. And so I really love that little trip in that little video. The fourth one I want to talk about is an unexpected party. And this was a really weird, like I said, unexpected bit of China experience because I was out filming, and then I ran into this farmer while I was out filming out in the countryside, and he invited me back to his house. And I went back to his house and just hung out with him for a little bit, drinking tea, talking with him about this and that. And it was just, it's something that only happens very rarely here, but it happens more than you think, actually, where you will just meet people and they will invite you back to your house. And that kind of experience is really meaningful. It's really quite something special. So I really recommend checking out that video. It's a fun one. Number 5 is Tianjin Slows Down. So basically, I just decided to go around Tianjin, film different little bits of B-roll and film it in slow motion, just showing a little bit of everyday life. And I picked this one because it's different. I don't do a lot of videos like that on my channel. I don't do a lot of montages. I don't do a lot of things like this. And I just figured, why not? Let's experiment a little bit. Let's try something new. And so I just thought that should be included in this list because I like experimenting and doing stuff a little different sometimes. Then we can move on to moving to Chengdu. This was it's actually it's one of my most viewed videos actually, because I just went around Chengdu and I explained a few things about the city. I talked about the air, I talked about the geography, I talked about the food, I briefly mentioned cost of living, and I just tried to give people a picture of the city that I live in. And it's really helped a lot of people out, which is great. It's really meaningful to me when I meet people here in town. As I do, I meet expats and they say, well, I remember watching your living in Chengdu video, you're moving to Chengdu video. And it really helped me out and helped me make that decision to move to Chengdu. And now I love it. Chengdu is an amazing place. And that just means so much to me. So thank you all for watching that video and for, deciding to make the leap, because it is kind of scary to jump over into China and start a whole new life. So that's, thanks. Next is Eat All of the Things, part 3 in particular. Now this was a good one because it helped me go viral in China, and that really was a wild experience, going viral in China. So someone took this video, subtitled it in Chinese, and then put it on a Chinese social media website. And so I'm just trying these random junk foods here in China, like this packaged tofu, this packaged stinky tofu, and other things. And it's just a little snapshot of my life at the time. But then it led into a whole crazy experience where I was going on TV and people were making documentaries of me, and I was making like a good amount of money from this, and I was able to like travel to different places and like fund vacations, finance vacations, and like it was an awesome little thing. And it all started with that one video. I remember someone messaging me like, "Hey man, you're famous now, you're famous." And they sent me a link to this video, and it had 500,000 views, and I kept refreshing and refreshing, and it would have like 600,000, 700,000, a million, 2 million, 3 million, more, so many millions of views on this one video that someone just happened to like and then translate and then put on Chinese social media. It was a wild thing. And so like that was the beginning of all this. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore really. And Eat All of the Things is pretty much done. I may bring it back later, but that was fun. Then we've got another one, which is the unfamiliarity of it all. That was a video that was really personal to me because my father had told me, when you're living in China, make sure you never lose that sense of wonder. Never forget where you are, and never lose that sense of the unfamiliarity of everything around you. And that really kind of resonated with me because it is hard to keep that sense of wonder. It is hard to remember that you're in China because you just sort of live your life. And that's I don't really know how to put it into words, but I sort of tried to, in that video, try to articulate that little piece of advice and my mindset at that time while I was still in Lanzhou. So definitely check out that video. Number 9 is how to make it in China. I tell people how to sort of be successful in China and how to sort of adjust. And I really like this video because it's just a little like time capsule of me and my mindset at the time. And this advice still holds true today, I think. I give some really basic pieces of advice in terms of mindset, in terms of attitude, and just ways to get more in touch with Chinese culture and ways to kind of smoothen the transition into China. And then the last one, number 10, is Beijing Part 1. And I like this one because it is just a little time capsule. And it's a way for me to kind of look back and see, wow, I've really grown over the years. I've really grown in terms of the way that I film videos, the way that I think, the way that even the equipment that I use, and the way the YouTube was at the time, and just all of these other things, the way that I look. And yeah, it's wild because I can look back on the years of my life and I can see that this was my very first sort of piece of video filmed in mainland China. And it was just, it's a trip, man. It's a trip to look back on that, and I really appreciate it. So there you have it. There it is, the top 10 videos on the Austin in China channel. I hope you can check all those videos out. The links will be down in the description below. And yes, thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day. I'm gonna have a great day, and I'll see you all